doing, guys? This is BGDINO, and I am the Turbodome Soldier. Welcome to my movie review show. Today's review is going to be on the movie Superman 2025. But first, let's James Gunn Superman. Let's go. The movie begins with Superman falling out the sky into the snowfield, like you see in the trailer where he fall down and you see Crypto, the dog, start jumping on him, and then he eventually drags him into his lair, where all the crystals and the robots, and the robots got him back in shape, got him at 80%, and he had to go back and fight. The thing he was fighting is called the Hammer. It's one of Lex Luthor's creations. I have to say this. The big conversation was about two things before this movie started. About his uniform and how David Cornsweet was going to do as Superman. And I have to tell you, take a bow, David Cornsweet, because you swept me off my feet. I enjoyed you as Superman. Take a bow. Yeah, he did great as Superman. I know a lot of people didn't, they still upset about the fact with Henry Cavill, but things happen. Things happen. And, I think he'll make a great Superman. He's a young guy. I thought he did pretty good. So pretty much what the movie is about is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, he was completely mean in this movie. I mean, I'm telling you, I know you've seen movies with Lex Luthor in it, and you even see cartoons and comic books. He's straight out the comic book in this movie. He's straight up evil. I mean, he holds back none. I mean, it was a scene where he shot a guy in the head. So let me rewind a little bit. So Lex Luthor, his whole goal was he had some mechanical machine, android type things, like the guy Hammer that beat Superman, knocked him into the snow. He's one of Lex Luthor's creations, and his whole thing was, at first he thought his goal was to try to get his little, android soldiers on the market so he can pretty much control everything, but that wasn't what his plan was. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I'm going to jump all over it because it's a Superman movie. You know what it is. So Lex Luthor pretty much, he has a hatred for Superman because the fact that Superman came from another planet and he already had all these abilities, and he feel like, by him being so smart, being pretty much a brainiac, he feel like that he had to work hard to become a genius and have all the powers and strength and designs and billions of dollars that he have. How does he get the right to just come down here and pretty much just take over? That's pretty much why he was angry. So Lex Luthor, he went all the way to the point of finding Superman's lair and was able to steal some of Superman's devices inside of Superman's crystal lair, where he heard Superman's father and mother talk. So this movie right here, it kind of brings up the point of, I don't know if you ever heard of the game and the cartoon called Injustice. Yeah, it kind of brings that, because the truth of the matter is, once Lex Luthor, he heard what the father was saying, it was in a broken language. Nobody understood the language. Even Clark Kent / Superman, he didn't understand the language. He just liked the fact to hear his parents talk. So Lex Luthor, by him being a mega genius, he was able to get someone to decrypt what the parents were saying. And the parents said two paragraphs. The first paragraph, they were saying, we want you to come down there, and do good and treat people different. And the second paragraph was, they actually sent Superman down to Earth to pretty much destroy the Earth, to take over, to rule over the Earth and kill anybody that's not, worthy of being on the planet. That was actually what they said. And it was actually broken down to, that was actually what Superman's mission was. So it kind of reminds you of this movie right here. That's right, the movie Brightburn. Because that was what they said, that was what his mission was. Once he got a little older, and he was able to go to a spaceship, and he decrypted what the spaceship was saying. It was telling him to take over the world. So, you know, I don't know if they're going to try to turn this movie into an Injustice League. I don't know what they're going to do. You know, that's going to be interesting where they're going to go from here. Because they have a little gang of people. They're not called the Justice League. They call it the Justice Gang. And they stay at the Hall of Justice. It's the Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and one of the Lanterns. He's not the actual Green Lantern, but he is a Green Lantern because, you know, they're a race. So he is a Green Lantern, and you got Superman. So they pretty much were the Justice Gang, as they call it. It was funny. They call it Justice Gang. I was like, wow. I like how the fact it wasn't really an origin story, because like I said, it came on with Superman getting knocked into the snow. So it was like it was already established what was going on. They didn't dive back into his childhood because everybody know what happened. But when it first came on, it kept saying, 3 years this happened, 3 decades this happened, 3 decades that happened. Pretty much explaining up to date with Superman. So it was saying once he became an adult, it was like 3 years that he became an adult is when he stepped to the world of Superman. And that's pretty much when Lex Luthor pretty much grew to hate him because, like I said, he was jealous of him. So all he wanted to do really is just destroy Superman. He don't care about no soldiers. He don't care about no money or nothing. He just angry because of the fact that he was able to come down to the planet and everybody praised him and he didn't even have to do anything. All in all, it was a great superhero movie. You know, people keep asking me, I had people ask me already, did James Gunn do better with Superman than he did with Guardians of the Galaxy or any other Marvel movie? And this is what I'm going to say on that right here. We be rocking the snatch kicks, freestyle fellowship in the mix, afterlife black men in the mix. You don't know now, but you gon' find out. I don't think that I'ma sleep tonight. My name is AC Alone, keep it tight. Them other fools just can't freak the mic, man. You don't know now, but you gon' find out. Who got the mic to serve you, bum. Like it said, I think it's about a tie. So, you know, I don't really know. I can't really tell you everything happens step by step, even though this is a spoiler review. But I will tell you this. This is the most in-depth Superman movie, I think. You know, even better than the Man of Steel, because in this one, this movie is actually like, say for instance, in real life, if it really was a such thing as a Superman would come down, how he pretty much would act. This Superman, he talked trash. He had like any other human being. I mean, he didn't act like, you know, like on most Superman movies, they got him like a special super god. No, he had like a regular human being. He had regular feelings like everybody else. He even actually made the big statement at the end. You know, he was like, even though I came from another planet, I'm still a human being because I feel emotions. I cry. You know, things hurt me. I get upset. I get nervous. I worry. I do everything that a human being. He says, so I am a human. You know, so that's the one thing I can say that really stood out to me is that it was more like, I'm not going to judge it compared to something like Watchmen, because that was just too brutal. But or Highlander from Off the Boys, I can't put them in no categories. They just reckless people right there. But Superman, most definitely, he was like a regular human being. Like I said, he had feelings. It wasn't like he was just some kind of extra nice person all the time, to smile all the time. He had headaches. He had mood swings. I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed this movie. So I think James Gunn, he probably could have did a little better. I think the reason why it may seem a little slow is because it's like I said, it's the first movie. I think it's going to be many, many more. So it's kind of like, even though it's not an origin story, I'm going to say, like, if you say, for instance, like it was maybe part 3. So it's like it started off, even though this is the first one with James Gunn, but it's like part 3, if that makes sense. So it's like it's jumped over part 1 and part 2, because everybody already knows Superman's story and jumped straight to part 3. Because which card, Lex Luthor, he was already mad, already attacking Superman when it came on. And I like I said, I thought it was a pretty good movie. I'm not gonna say it's the best movie in the world, but I thought everybody did a good job. The guy played as Lex Luthor. He also played as Beast on X-Men. He did an excellent job. Everybody, in fact, everybody in this movie did an excellent job to me. Mr. Terrific and Superman, I think they stood out above everybody else. No, and also the Lateran guy, he was pretty comical. So, I think the movie was great. I mean, what more can you say? It's a Superman movie. Everybody loves Superman. All over the world, everybody loves Superman. Everybody loves Superman. So, this is the most average hero out of any show, any cartoon, Marvel or DC. Everybody knows who Superman is. So, let me give my immediate reaction and my rating on this one. But first, Superman got something else he want to show you. I'm sorry, guys. I had to do it. Okay, so my immediate reaction is, I'm going to say it was good. My rating is 5 out of 5 Pterodon soldiers is the best. 0 out of 5 Pterodon soldiers is the worst. I'm going to rate this a 2.7 Pterodon soldiers out of 5. 2.7 Pterodon soldiers out of 5. For someone who doesn't really read comic books like that, it may be a little bit boring, or it may not hit you like it will hit somebody that read comic books or into the DC or Marvel layer, understand certain things. So it might hit you a little different. But there was parts at the end. I can remember a part at the end where Superman was fighting everything. It always made you want to jump. I'm like, get him, Superman! Get him! So, like I said, for a casual fan, it might get a little boring to him, but for someone who really looks forward to seeing Superman or X-Men or something like that, you're gonna love it. And like I said, if you look at it to the point of, don't try to compare him to the other Superman, just look at him as the new Superman, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot better. A lot of people trying to compare him to the other Supermans, and if you do that, you're gonna be a little upset. So, let me give my honorable mentions. Shout out to the Dante Show Network. Shout out to June 5th. Shout out to Miss Jersey. Shout out to NS. Subscribe to Miss Jersey channel. It's Forensic 8888. She does movie reviews and book reviews, also like myself. And also, June 5th, he does interviews with people, and he also is a journalist. And Miss Jersey, she also does another show with a guy by the name of NS. Check these guys out. Thank you very much. This is BGDINO, the Pterodon Soldier. Thank you guys very much. If you guys enjoyed the video, can you please hit the like button? Please show me a little bit of love. Hit that like button. Salute. And thank you guys, and I love you.